I have a little fabrication job to do, because last week I needed my tractor to move things around, and I felt that the seat was very low and the spring-loaded system was completely bottoming out. And when I took a closer look, I found out that this part here is broken. Now, just imagine what can happen when you're driving things around and the thing breaks completely while you're driving on the street towing a trailer. Now, I don't really have a problem with getting overrun by your own trailer. It's just that it makes a terrible mess on the street. And to prevent it from happening, let's fix this thing. And by the way, maybe you're interesting to know that this thing was built in 1957. It's even older than I am. Looking at it like this now, it really was a close call. Right, I'm sitting here and doing a little bit of thinking. Yes. This thing, I'm gonna bend it back, hoping it will not break, and then weld it back together again. And inside here I will reinforce it, because between these two little plates there comes nothing. So normally that could work. This part I fixed it a few times, as maybe you can see there's a part missing here, but that's not important. And the fix I did last time seems to work, so I'm not gonna touch this one. This little pipe that's in here, or bushing or whatever you want to call it, there's a part missing. So make new one. And maybe also make dedicated bolts, because this is just metric 14 threaded rod and it fits, but you know, could be better. So first job, maybe fix this one. I cleaned off the rust and the paint more or less as good as I could. Let's see if we can bend this thing back a little bit. The problem is that this little piece of pipe is touching these corners. So first I should try to spin it a little bit more this way before I can push it in. Okay. Yes. It worked. To keep the gap more or less closed, I installed a made in Germany clamp in my vise and I squeeze it all together. And I think I'm ready to tack weld this. Two little corners tack weld and reassembled loosely, and it seems to fit. And on this part there is no left and right play, so that's good, but it is a little bit out of line, so I have to figure out what's going wrong here. The other part here, that's really a loose fit, but I think it will get better if I get this one out here and this one out here. So this bushing in here was welded only here in the middle, and my first idea was to install on the inside two little plates to reinforce it, but because original it wasn't welded here, I will weld it, and I think it will be sufficient. Now I'm going to take this one out. Easy. Making a new bushing for this one, no problem. And take out the wiggle waggle of this part, problem. But let's do one thing at a time. First I will weld It's always a little bit a challenge to weld completely rusted steel in a thin wall like this one. But okay, I think it will hold. Right, I'm gonna let it cool down, of course, because this is freaking hot for the moment. And of course, while the thing is cooling down, I'm not gonna sit here and do nothing. Let's make a bushing for this spring here. Inside 14, outside I don't remember anymore, but I'm sure this piece of test cut steel will do the trick. It happens sometimes that I do stupid things, and the stupid things I want also share with you. Now, there's nothing really dangerous, I didn't broke anything, it's just not enough thinking, that's all. This is the piece I was working on, and on my drill bit there is this little mark, and that is of course the length of the piece I have, of the part I have to make. But my blank, my raw material here, on this end there is an eccentric that I don't need. So my material, my real part starts here. And I drilled the hole, of course, with my mark here on top, which means the hole isn't deep enough. And I think that's not really smart. Now, okay, as I said, it's not really important as hobbyists. We don't care. But I think it's not really an efficient way of doing things. I think if you do something, why not do it right? So I took my part out and my plan is now to cut. I think this will work just fine. It's a little bit a snug fit, but that's good. I will press it in. This will be just perfect. Now, this bushing normally is held in place by the grease nipple. And this one, I suppose, died many years ago, but still. So this is the old bushing, of course, and the grease nipple goes here in this hole and holds the thing in place. So all that's left to do now is to drill. That's good. After a little bit of cleanup of this part I just welded and assembly without nutting the thing, it's just studs in here, I think it's gonna work because there's almost no movement. Of course there will always be, because it's hinged, of course, and it seems more or less lined out. So next step, making dedicated little bolts for this. I need to make 4 like these 14mm bolts, and to do that I will use a little piece that I used previous video to make. Just a second, I'll be right back. Hey. Stupid animal. So I said 4 times, and this will be just enough to make 3, but I will make 2 and then 2. Let's go for it. Perfect. And now I have 2 future bolts. Now I marked here with a Sharpie, very precise, the length of the thread I have to cut. So let's cut some threads. A metric 14 thread has a pitch of 2mm. Okay, Rooster, 2mm. So I need to set 3. Come on, 3. Okay. Where was I? 3K is okay. What else? E. All set. Two millimeter. 4 brand new bolts. Let's reassemble the thing. I think it doesn't look too bad. There is almost no wiggle waggle, no play, and when the suspension is working there's no weird noises, so that's good. But does it also work on the road? Let's find out. Preheat 2 minutes. But before I go, I will put this thing on the seat as a cushion to protect my butt cheeks from bumping around. I think I've just been tractor jacked.